Okay, first and foremost, new setup. You got some posters back there. You have Edge back there. There's this blanket. It's covering a half-naked woman that I don't want to get in trouble for. And you got Sprinkler over there. It's comfortable, right? I got this chair. I have the desk back in here, but I don't need to move it anymore. It's staying stationary. That's my biggest problem. But I got everything worked out. Hopefully. So anyway, Season 2 of Lost. Or Desage. I hate doing these backwards, but I need to see the time. So, can't really put it in there with the new background. But anyway, where did we leave off with Lost? Well, Michael, Sawyer, and Jin and Walt are on a raft. The others show up. They kidnap Walt and blow up the raft. Sawyer is shot. Jin jumps in after him. And Michael is forced to jump off the raft when the explosion happens. There's that side. On the other side, Jack, Kate, and Locke have blown up the hatch. They've blown up the lid to the hatch, and now they're staring down in there. And what they find is a man named Desmond Hume, who has been in there for quite some time. And he tells them that they have, every 108 minutes, you have to type in certain numbers. The numbers are 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42. Those are the same numbers that Hurley won the lottery with and was cursed by. After you put the numbers, you hit execute. And it'll reset the timer for another 108 minutes. If you don't do this, there will be a big explosion. So, on that side, we have, people taking shifts to do that. Type it in, do the thing. On the other side, though, we have Michael and Sawyer struggling to get back to land, and what they find is a group of people with Jin running from them. He's screaming, others, others. He can sort of speak English. He's been learning from Sun. But when they find out is that they're actually survivors from Oceanic 815 from the tail section. If you remember, I mentioned in season 1 that Boone made contact with someone via a radio. And he said that they were survivors of Oceanic 815 and got the same reply back. You got to really pay attention to it, but it does happen. Have the captions on when that happens. And this is them. And there were 23. There's not quite that much left, but the important ones you need to know about are Ana Lucia, played by Michelle Rodriguez, Libby, played by Cynthia Watros, Bernard, as Charlie would say, played by Sam Anderson, who is Rose's husband, and Cindy, whose actress I do not know, but also Mr. Echo, played by, and I'm sorry if I butchered this, Dwale Akinoe Akbaji. The guy who's in everything but nobody knows his name. That guy. The African British guy who's in everything, and he's in G.I. Joe and this and The Mummy Returns. He's been in a lot of stuff, but no one ever knows his name because you can't pronounce it. He's in this. He must echo. And he has a connection to those, the plane that they found that Boone died in. His brother was the priest that's in there. One of the priests that was in there. Or he's a real priest. There's a bunch of backstory. I'm not going to go into too much of the flashbacks unless it pertains to certain aspects. I don't want to be here forever. Okay? But anyways, so there's that. Eventually, and I mean eventually, the tail section people make it back to the rest of them. But the biggest problem with this, and it's a big problem with the first 3 seasons of the show. If you don't know, the first 3 seasons of the show had 23 to 24 episodes apiece. Whereas the last 3 had 13 to 16 episodes apiece. Which means there was a lot less time for bullshit. But in these seasons, because there are 24, 25 episodes to get to, you gotta pad out. So we can't just have the tail section people meet up with our people right away. Oh no, we gotta have a contradiction to our group. Whereas the people basically elected Jack as their leader. On the other side, you have Ana Lucia, who's a former cop. She's tough, she's gruff, and she don't take no shit. But she's total opposite of Jack. She elected herself leader and won't take no for an answer. And that leads to a lot of problems because she won't even let them explain what's going on before she's pointing guns at them. And she actually causes the death of one of the main characters because she doesn't stop and look. And she's a cop! And it's Shannon, by the way. She's the first person to die in this season. And it's really just out of nowhere, to be honest. Her and Sayid are having a romantic night. She sees Walt in the rain in the middle of the woods and runs towards him. There's a gunshot, and we find out a couple episodes later, because we got to do a whole episode that shows the whole 48 days on the other side of the island, which is compressed to one episode and not a whole season, but you know what I mean. So that's kind of a good thing. But Shannon dies, and Sayid is out for revenge, but then they capture Sayid. Ana Lucia captures Sayid instead of, saying, oh, he's with the rest of the survivors. Let's go with them. No, we got to take more time because we got to, And that even makes it worse because once everyone's back together again, everyone's happy to see each other and everything. And once the honeymoon is over, as they say, we got to pad stuff more out. So, my biggest problem with the last season was that they find out that there could be others out there and they don't do anything about it. Now, they know for fucking sure there are others out there. They're even threatened by the others. They capture Kate and threaten them. And they still do fucking nothing. Why? Because if they did, the season would be over in like 5 episodes. They even go so far as to have an entire episode based around Sawyer and Hurley trying to find a goddamn laughing frog. And an entire episode that's backstory based around Bernard and Rose. And she has cancer, but now she's on the island. She doesn't have cancer. So, this whole episode means jack shit. Yes, she found out later in the series that she's afraid if she leaves the island, cancer will come back. That's not how it works, even though it sort of works that way for Locke, but we'll get there. Mr. Echo is a man of faith after he wasn't. He used to be a drug runner. He's a man of faith now after his brother, a real priest, died. He became a man of faith, and he believes that his job is to build a church because he has a dream, but then he has another dream about the hatch. Now he believes his destiny is to push the button in the hatch, but that doesn't work because John Locke decides not to press the button. That's later in the season. Now let's talk about the biggest problem with this season, and that's Michael. In season 1, Michael was my point of view character. He's a single father, just trying to raise his son, trying to protect his son. His son has now been kidnapped, and now he's got to do anything he can to get his son back. And we find out in flashbacks that So, Michael left to go get Walt. And then he comes back. He's found in the jungle after Jack, tries to make a trade. Michael's found in the jungle. Michael comes back, and we get 2 more kills in this season when he kills Ana Lucia and by accident Libby. And Libby and Hurley had a little thing going, and Ana Lucia and Sawyer, they kind of fucked. But other than that, Now, there has been stuff pointed out that, Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Ana Lucia, and Cynthia Watros, who played Libby, they were in a DUI accident. And then their characters were killed off. So this led to speculation that the characters were killed off because of the DUI. In the case of Ana Lucia, her death does make sense. We got 2 episodes based on her character. It was fleshed out. We kind of came full circle with her character. Libby, on the other hand, we had no fucking idea about her. We didn't have 1 episode based around her at all. Not one. There's an episode where we see that she was in the asylum where Hurley stayed, but we never get a conclusion to that. At least I don't think so. And then there's another episode where she is the one who gives Desmond his boat. No context there either, and we don't see her again. So I think maybe, they decided, LOC was going out and they said, oh, let's just deal with this whole DUI thing and kill off Libby as well. And ruin the character of Michael in doing this, by the way. Because now he's become the enemy and he has to talk the others, or, the Jack and them, to go trek across the island to stop them. To stop the others. Because he has to try to convince that it was one of the others, because they capture a guy who says his name is Henry Gale. If you're a long time watcher of the show, you know it's Ben Linus, played by Michael Emerson. And there's a whole story with a balloon and stuff like that. But Michael frees him, and he's able to leave with Walt, which is not the arrangement he wanted, but they said that they got their hands full with Walt more than they wanted. Now, throughout the first and second season, there's this, I mentioned this in the first season review, that there's subtle hints that Walt has these special powers. Now, the only problem is they weren't counting on puberty to rear its ugly head. It's almost as if hiring a 13-year-old to play an 18-year-old was a bad idea. So, the reason that Malcolm David Kelly is credited for the entire season, only seen twice, maybe 3 times, is because puberty. And I think they even messed with his voice a little bit when for one scene at the end of the season. They had to get rid of him because of puberty. So they had to get him off the island. And then Locke and Echo are coming to blows, but then there's Desmond, who reveals that because Locke now believes that it's fake, because they found another hatch that told them this was only a psychological study. So he believes that if they don't push it in, nothing's going to happen. Even after Desmond reveals that he accidentally didn't push it, and it caused the crash of Oceanic Flight 815, although that would be contradicted later down the line. But Locke still doesn't believe it. And then, after everything is going to shit, Locke admits he was wrong. And so Desmond has to take this little key thingy and turn it to blow the dam. And also, he was on the island. He was found by Sayid's former commanding officer. I don't know. Inman? I don't know. We find out that the Dharma Initiative were on the island, but these people are not the Dharma Initiatives. The others, we'll get more into that in Season 3. Overall, Season 2 is a decent season. I like it a little bit less than Season 1 due to the Michael stuff, but it works. Walt isn't really fleshed out because they had to get rid of him, so the whole thing about he has special powers doesn't really go anywhere, but it's fine. The filler for stretching out time doesn't work for me. And boy, when we get to Season 3, let me tell you, it don't get better. So, what are your thoughts on Season 2 of Lost? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. We'll see you in the next one.